Okay, guys, let's think Terran again. This is more information. Transcript of call from Heather, 11th of August 2017. Heather recounts Washington, D.C. swearing-in ceremony. Missing from the transcript. Okay? Heather phone call transcript, transcribed by Denise from a recorded telephone conversation with Terran and Heather. So this is some missing information. And Heather going over it. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. Reading through this again, I'm trying to keep these short and just provide you guys with links so you can go over and read them yourself. Um, you know what? I can read this. Heather phone call transcript 11th of August 2017. They were asking me, do I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? And I started out by saying, by due sworn declaration. And I stopped mid-sentence because I felt two very strong energetic signatures swoop in. Tried to figure out where they were coming from, and I said, can I have a second? She said, sure. Then I said, okay. She said, okay, and that's it. And I said, no, may I proceed? She said, we still see you did it. Heather, no, I said, no standing due identification correction. I am source of all that is original, nunc pro tunc praetera, praeterea, and I do swear to speak only true, accurate, and complete. That was the entire swearing in, and that was the only time I knew I would have to make standing due identification correction. Terran, right? Heather, so if it's not in there, what is that is what we call falsifying the evidence when they changed the transcripts like that, because that right there was a linchpin of them not being able to do the whole identification hearing to begin with. Terran, yeah, it's completely missing from the transcript, just says sworn in. There was one redacted sentence in the transcript. Really? Wow. So here's what happens when you have someone who knows completely how the game is played and they play it perfectly. That's the best thing they can do, is alter the physical evidence and hope that it doesn't stick. What they don't understand is every single being is transmitting, receiving utility. Well, they understand that in a monetary sense, as in the TDA accounts, their name and social security number, but they don't understand in a practical application in their lives. Even the conversation that they're having out in the park all by themselves without their phones and their secret, those are recorded as well. It makes NSA look like children playing with Fisher-Price recording tools. So like I said, you can't stop someone from being corrupt. All you can do is accept the evidence of their corruption. I can tell you there's a reason why we are going through all of this, because it is never going to happen again. Those that were in power are effectively being removed as we speak, and they are removing themselves by their very choices. So we have the old world going out and the new world coming in. We certainly feel the frequencies shift here. Oh yeah, DC is no longer what it was before I arrived. Even after I left, it has completely changed. It is just deteriorating the frequencies faster and faster until it's finally no longer there. And not just DC, but all international equivalents. Those are what we call portal cities, Vatican, everywhere, and the inner earth equivalents. This is how it plays out. Focus on the big picture, focus on the end result, because that is just where all the details go super fast, and we only focus on the result, and we handle the details as they come up. If we focus on the details, it can feel like eternity. And that's what makes it really, really, really heavy, really resistant. There was a resistance even to my presence physically here, so me feeling their setbacks, those frequencies are not pleasant, and I have not felt these kinds of frequencies since the first time I ever went to London, right? This is how London felt, very similar to Virginia, which is a very interesting observation at the jail there. No, I am not just talking about the jail, no, not the jail itself. It is a really grotesque example of how the prison systems are banks. The jail actually transports for the U.S. Marshals for free because they are funding for each bed. They get their funding for each bed. And the women who are in here, they all know it is a money-based operation. It's very fascinating, actually, to have a conversation with the women who are in here. They see what's going on. They, the jail, basically get all this Fed money. You, the prisoner, get nothing in return, essentially a uniform and some sheets. That's it for all the money that they are getting for each one. I do not know how much the jail are receiving, but I do know in DC they were supposedly getting $15K a day for each person. But what I can tell you, at least the prisoners who are in here, you can get a nice hotel for that. Yeah, right. Makes Trump International look like Motel 6. Yeah, it is grotesque, but as far as Virginia itself, I've only been on the outskirts of Virginia, and that was the weekend that Princess Diana got it. This is the first time I have been full-fledged inside. You know, we are not that far from Richmond, not that far from Norfolk, but there's also another base here about 7 miles from Warsaw. I don't know the name. There's actually two Dahlgren Naval Base, Directed Energy Weapons Lab, and Dover Air Force Base is purportedly a SSP base. I don't go anywhere that is not required. I go some places that it is really toxic, and I have gone where there are some really toxic frequencies, but I can tell you that this is probably the hardest one where I have been in the densest toxic in this space, and that's saying a lot coming out of DC. DC actually felt light, felt fun, felt perfect, ready, right? Then there were a couple of decisions that were made, not even in the U.S., and that's why this all began. So all this talk about national security is a bunch of BS. All the president bonds are worthless. All the trading programs globally are worthless because of all the decisions they've made over the last 2 weeks. They can play whatever semantic games they want, removing nunc pro tunc, praeterea. Praeterea, it doesn't matter because they are toned, they are seen. Luckily for everyone on this planet, it is a paperless system now, so that is recorded, evidenced, and their corruption is evidence. And we move forward. The old world is out. It is out. Anything that tries to stop original from being original, and how much more evidence do you need of someone trying to stop original from being original by removing a few seemingly few words? How scared do they have to be to remove those 4 or 5 words? How powerful are those words? I thought it was just odd because they left Parker Still's sworn-in ceremony there, Eastern Tennessee District Grand Jury testimony, and they trinicated yours to just sworn in. Oh, really? Yeah, that would be DC Records. I'm looking at the grand jury testimony of Parker Still, and they swore him in. The whole thing was in there, but in DC it isn't in there. That is not how it's supposed to be. It is supposed to be word for word. They had Parker Still in DC. They swore him in and asked if he swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Could you look? Is it cut for him? Yeah, I will. Parker Still, by the way, his name was misspelled on the different testimony, just in case you guys don't know that. His last name was spelled differently on different parts. Parker Still swearing in was transcribed as follows in the Washington, D.C. transcript. Parker Steele, having been called as a witness on behalf of the government and having been first duly sworn by deputy clerk, was examined and testified as follows. You guys will figure it out. It's all in there. Keep your eyes on the big picture. Remember, this case is a red herring. And like I told you, Z, when we talked, he said, this is checkmate. I said, yeah, it was checkmate 4.5 years ago. So everyone wins. Just keep our eyes on the results, okay? Okay. On the big picture, I'm going to fly into Nashville, and my brother is going to pick me up and take me to Knoxville. Oh, good. I saw him in Wyoming recently, right? Oh, that's awesome. How far is Nashville from? Okay, so this is just, them basically having a personal conversation at the end here. Um, you know, so yeah, it was going more into what was redacted there, which was Heather's swearing in. So there's a little bit more research that's going to be required into some of this. I'm trying to look over a bunch of different things. I'm also trying to get out a few other videos at the same time. But I feel that this is pretty important. The fact that they're removing things from the transcription. Um, it is supposed to be word for word, and the fact that they are removing things um, shows that there's things they're trying to hide. We all got to pay very close attention to all of this. Alright guys, if you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, do so now, as I'm just getting started. And most importantly, share. Get this information out. It's very important we share the fact that this is what's going on. And guys, leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Much love to you. God bless you. And I'll have some more content coming out here shortly.